Coming up, an episode for those of you who want to increase your finances, grow your bank account, achieve financial abundance. This episode is from a workshop that I led during an event that was highly rated. And so I figured I would share it here on the podcast. In it, I take you through a process that's going to help you identify your beliefs around money and then either shift those beliefs or capitalize on those beliefs so that you can achieve the financial abundance that you want. This is an episode you will probably want to refer to time and time again, especially as you continue to grow in your money mindset. Grab a pad of paper and a pen and stay tuned. Welcome to Shift or Get Off the Pot, the podcast that helps you get out of your head and into action so you can make your dreams your reality. Let's get to it. Okay, hopefully you've got a pad of paper if you're going to stick with me for this little bit of money mindset training. And first thing, I'm going to give you 4 questions. The first question I want you to write down how you or what your initial response is when you hear terms like, if you can make $10,000 a month, you can make $100,000 a month. If you have an idea, you can easily bring that into existence and it can be incredibly prosperous. It's easy to make money. Business is easy. Money is abundant. We live in an abundant universe, and it's really easy to make money. You can pretty much do it on demand. Conversely, what do you feel like? Where does your mind go when you hear things like, oh my gosh, business is so hard? Or I never seem to have enough at the end of the month. Like I'm always living paycheck to paycheck. Why is it that there has to be such a struggle to make money? Like, why do we have to have so much money? Why does it cost so much for things? I want you to start writing down, just write down those questions. Like, what are your triggers there? When you hear like the positive slant on money, like it's easy to make money, or if you make 100,000 in a year, you can easily make 100,000 in a month. What comes up for you when you hear those statements? Like, is your mind going, oh, hell yeah, sign me up. I can do this. I know 100% I can do this. Or do you sit back and kind of think to yourself, what? Like, honey, you don't have my life. Like, I'm still waiting for child support to be paid. I've got a ton of bills. You have no idea what I'm going through. Like, what really comes up for you? And I want you to write that down because this is going to be important. I'm going to have you go through these exercises because awareness is going to be 100% key to what you can actually develop and live in your life. The next question is that you're going to now write down five items, 5 things that you could either experience, that you could do, that you could have, what your life would be like if you knew beyond any certainty of doubt, you knew 100% that your success was guaranteed, that you will absolutely achieve this. Like almost like someone's coming into you and saying, here you go. And all you have to do is accept it. Like write down those 5 things. And they could be anything. It could be, an experience. It could be a fantastic trip. It could be like, for me, I 100% know that I want a vacation home in the Caribbean. I know exactly which island. I know where I want it to be. I know what it looks like. I even know what the decor on the inside looks like. I'm so crystal clear on that 100%. I know that it is, I'm drawing that into my existence. I'm drawing it into my realm. I know that I want to move my office with my studio on my property still, but I want it in a different location. I want them together in the same area, so I don't have to go from one point to another. I want everything together, and I know exactly what that looks like. I'm really crystal clear on that. And I've got the pictures and such to support that. So take a look at 5 items. We want to stick with just 5 right now. So just write down, I'm going to write out 5 or list 5 different items that I want to have, experience, or do. And let's maybe put a time limit on it. Okay. So let's put like maybe in the next year. Let's keep it closer. So let's look at it in the next year. I'm going to have you actually write out this exercise after this so we can have some time for lunch, but you're going to take your time with this. When you go through those questions, I want you to get as descriptive as possible. because I want you to start getting into the feelings of it. It's going to be really key that you hit the emotions of it and the emotional triggers. And the reason why you want to hit the emotional triggers is because those are the things that's going to help your mind to start believing in it. Because you can't achieve something if you don't believe in it. It's just not going to happen. So you have to be able to get into that space where your mind can actually accept it and draw it in, and where you can actually believe in it. For me, I remember one time when I wanted my car, the new car I was getting, I wanted it to be white, and I wanted tan leather interior. And when I called the dealers, they were like, we don't get that here. There's no tan leather interior. They do that on the East Coast. It's an East Coast thing. For some reason, we just don't do that. And I'm like, what? Like, it made no sense to me whatsoever. So instead, I started thinking about it. And, I've always learned, because years ago, I told you I owned a personal development franchise, and I grew up in all these kinds of books, and I've had mentors over the years. And I always learned, you kind of get into the feeling of it. Like, what would it feel like to sit in that leather seat, and how I could feel and smell that leather, and, to sink back in that seat. And I had a hard time getting my mind to be wrapped around that, where it wasn't really believable. And I'm giving you a really simple example here, but I think it illustrates it probably the best to help you understand that when we talk about getting into the emotion of something and trying to make it real for yourself, you have to make it something that absolutely resonates with you. Me getting into a car seat and sitting back and going, I can smell the leather and I feel the leather, it didn't mean anything to me. It didn't resonate with me. But what was so real to me, and something that my mind could actually latch onto, was if I said, oh my gosh, I'm going to meet my friend hiking, and I got to get gas in my car because I forgot to fill it up, and I'm going to be late if I don't leave now. So I'm grabbing my stuff. I don't have my shoes on. My hiking shoes are on my hand. My backpack's on my shoulder. I've got a bottle of water, and it's open, of course, because I'm in a rush. So I'm rushing out to my car. I could see myself, kind of fumbling to get in. I've got my knee against the door. I'm opening the door. I could see myself, dropping my backpack in there and throwing my shoes. And then all of a sudden I go to get in, and the water's spilling all over, like totally just drenching myself in the water. That was so real to me. It was so believable that it was something my mind could totally resonate with that, because it's something that I would do. It was part of my real life experience. So when you think in terms of, I want to create something, and I know I have to step into the emotion of the feeling of it, because then it becomes more believable. It draws it into your subconscious, and that's going to be so key. This is why vision boards work, but you can't just slap the picture of the car on there. You have to get into the emotion of it. The feeling is the sense that's absolutely crucial in doing this. But the other key component is you have to make it incredibly believable for yourself. What is it that resonates with you? So when you go through this exercise in step number 2 and writing out those 5 items, I want you to think in terms of what is it that makes it real to you. So I did this, and when I went to the dealership, they said, oh, we just got, a new shipment in, but I'm telling you, they only have like the dark interior. We don't have that tan leather interior you're looking for. And I'm like, all right. He goes, well, let's just go out and look at them. You don't know, maybe you'll fall in love with the other interior. And we start walking out there. And we have to unwrap the cars because they literally just came in. Like, they literally just got there. And he unwraps it, and he looks at me and he goes, oh, you're not going to believe this. You won't believe this. And I'm like, oh, yes, I will. Like, you have no idea how much I have thought about this. And I know for a fact that if I want that white car with the tan leather interior, then there's a possibility that it exists. So I'm going to step into that. And sure enough, that's what it was. It was the exact car I wanted, with all the stuff in it that I wanted. But it's only because I made it believable to myself. Now, I gave you a really simple, very simple example of something, a materialistic thing. It doesn't have to be that. It could be an experience. It could be a life partner. It could be a different level in your business and how you see yourself doing retreats with people and getting into the actual experience of it, the mindset of it, and feeling what that feels like. Like, where are you? Are you on a beach somewhere? Are you in the mountains? Are you in Sedona? Like, name that place, but then really step into it in a sense that it makes it so believable and real for you. I'm that klutz that would run out to my car with the water bottle open, and I would drop it all over the place. And I'd be in a hurry because I didn't get the gas the night before. That's just totally me. So it became believable. Okay, that's step number 2. The third step is that I want you to notice what came up for you when you were writing these things down. And of course, you're going to be doing this later because you're going to get really into the details of it. We want to get into the details of it. That's going to be important. but you want to take a look at what is it that comes up for you. Like, are you sitting there and thinking, really, Kim, you want a vacation house there and one in Maui and like one in Portugal? Like, why? Like, do you really think you need all that? Or are you thinking, oh my gosh, yeah, I can't wait to have that. Oh my gosh, if I do that, then, I can be there with these big family reunions with all my cousins and my relatives. And I can also see my friends that are in Europe, and I can also go over to Hawaii and we can have time there. And getting excited about it? Or are you thinking, why are you asking for that? Like, really? $1 million? I mean, come on. I'd be happy with the, $300,000 year or $100,000 year, depending on where you're at. What is coming up for you? I want you to notice that, because that's going to be so important and so telling to your ability to actually create what you want and to step into what you want. Because your beliefs, your life is being designed by what you believe in your mind, right? The outward world is a direct reflection of your inward world. So you want to make sure that you're really understanding what's coming up for you. What are these stories? For me, early on, my story was around money, and I didn't really understand it at the time because I was young when this happened. I didn't have I didn't have the ability to conceptualize what it meant, what money meant, and all of that, and what, how to grow everything. And early on, it's been easy for me to make money. I was in sales initially, and I started a business, and I've never had a difficulty making money. But what I had a hard time with was really kind of hanging on to that money and growing to another level. Now, there was no real need to hang on to that money, but that's like the wrong phrase to use or the wrong term to use. But what happened is I would get this money and I'd think, oh my gosh, I'm halfway to the down payment of my new house. And then bam, something would happen. I'd have some major thing would happen, like all the kids needed braces or wisdom teeth out at the same time, and then braces, or somebody got injured, or we had medical expenses, or, a pipe would burst and we'd have to put everything into fixing a part of the house. And something was always happening that would pull it away from me. Why was that happening? Well, when I started doing a little bit of a deep dive, and it was through these exercises, I realized that when I was young, I was like 5 years old, and we were walking out of the grocery store in Dallas, Texas. I'll never forget it. It was really windy that day. And my mom was holding on my hand, and she also was juggling groceries, but she had a $5 bill that she was trying to put into her wallet. And this gust of wind came, and it picked it up, and it took it out, and it blew down through the parking lot and into the alley. And I remember my mom saying, oh my gosh, I should have held on to that. I knew I should have held on to that tighter. There it goes, blown away. I should have held on to that money tighter. Well, in my little brain, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you have to hold on to your money tight, because if you don't, it's going to go away. It's going to go away. So what I was doing was I'd make money, but I would hold on to that money. And I did believe in tithing, and I was gifting. But I would gift, and I wouldn't always give a full 10%, because I believe that is really important. I think the gift is in the giving. But at that time, I would go, oh my gosh, it was like this struggle. It's like, I really should, but I might need it for something else, because I had that script running in the back. And it was doing this process that allowed me to realize, okay, what's the story that's going on? What do I feel when I hear that it's easy to make money? Business is, easy, and abundance is flowing around us. And then, am I asking for too much? If I list out what I really want, am I asking for too much, or am I comfortable in that? And am I stretching myself? And then it's, what are my beliefs around those things? Really understanding that. But then the fourth component, and this is so key, this is really important here. This is the fourth and final question. What do you believe about your abilities to actually achieve those 5 things that you wrote down? What do you believe about your abilities? Like, do you sit there and think to yourself, oh my gosh, that's a great dream, but it's probably not going to happen in a year. I mean, maybe in 10 years, maybe in 20 years, I don't know if I could do it. Or do you think that I can actually have all of those things? Or maybe I can just have one of those things. What do you believe about your abilities? This is why we want to get into the belief, and we want to mix that, with our emotions and such, because here's the thing. Your subconscious mind is completely neutral. It's completely neutral. It doesn't care if it's bringing something that we would consider negative into our experience, or if it's bringing something into our experience that's positive, right? It's completely neutral. So it doesn't matter what you're putting out there. It's going to bring it into your existence. That's why you want to watch what you're putting out there. That's why words are so powerful, because they have the ability to create. So if you want to step into a higher vision of yourself, if you want to step into all the possibilities that are there and into a more abundant lifestyle, then you have to get really clear on what it is that you want, why you want it. Everybody today has been speaking about the why. What's your why? What's your driving motivator behind it? Because without that, you're not going to have the ability to stick with it. And it's not going to resonate with you at a deeper level where your subconscious then is going to go to work for you, because it's called the reticular activation system, right? It's the thing that actually focuses only in on that thing that you want. So it's going to push away all the other things that don't serve your purpose, that don't support what it is that you're looking at, the goal that you're focused on, and it's going to zero in just on that. So that's why you want to be really clear on what you're saying to yourself. What's that inner script? Because you might be using the words, but if you're using the words and that thought is in there that cancels it out, like, I want to become a millionaire in 1 year. Oh, right. You're not going to do that. Come on. And nobody in your family has done that. What makes you think you can do that? Boom. You've automatically canceled it out. And a negative thought is I think it's about 4 times more powerful than a positive thought. And when you verbalize it, it has even more power. I know that's such a rub. It just doesn't seem like it should be that way, but that's the way it is. So that's why you have to watch those words and you have to watch what's going on in your mind. So absolutely key to your growth, because the only way that you're going to grow is if you can bring those things into alignment. You want to make sure that your beliefs are where you want them to be so that you can actually create the life that you say that you want, that you desire, and you can step into that world of possibilities, that world of abundance for yourself. All right, so those are the 4 questions. First, you're going to write down what triggers do you hear? What kind of comes up for you when you hear things like it's easy to make money, or conversely, money doesn't grow on trees. Like, where are you at in that? Then you're going to write down your 5 things. What are the 5 experiences, the things that you want to do, have in your life? Then you're going to get really crystal clear and detailed with those as well. The third thing is what's coming up for you when you write those down. Like, what's your response to that? Because we want to get to whatever that inner script is. Where did that come from? And I'm not a believer that you have to go way back and spend hours of time kind of get rid of that. I think you can look at it and you notice it, because it's going to come up for you. They will. You're human. So these triggers are going to continually come up for you. As you continue to evolve, they'll take on different energy and they'll come up in different ways, but you'll be able to look at it. You'll be able to catch it quickly and say, are you serving me or not? Boom, get rid of it. And then you want to replace it with a positive belief. That's why you want to look at the fourth and final step. And that is, what do you believe about your abilities to actually achieve this? Do those exercises. I promise you, if you take the time to really go through those and get detailed, you will start to see a shift happen for you. And you will start to see, really, it's an energetic shift that starts to take place. And you start to step into a different level of your being. Thanks so much for joining me here today. If you want some help achieving your goals, you can grab the success bundle that is linked down below, or you can join the challenge that I have coming up. The challenge is designed to help you align with your goals, get out of your head, get into action so you can achieve what it is that you say you want. You have the ability. Let's just get going and get it done. I'll be back again soon with another episode of Shift or Get Off the Pot.